this building, you could really tangibly feel the difference since Andy came in. The workers downstairs are excited and now telling us about the problems they're encountering where they feel real fix. Here's the fix to this, you know, and so there's been a period of tremendous cynicism, I think, that's gone on, and I think Andy is really making headway because of the way he talks and the frankness.
I was at Rutgers Church at Assemblymember Linda Rosenthal's town hall, where Andy was speaking to a group that was really angry about M104 bus cuts, and he really won the audience over. He said, we're looking at every route, we're going to reevaluate everything. If we've done something wrong, we're going to do it. We're going to do a pilot project where NYPD, DOT, and transit personnel make sure buses get through and see if ridership comes back. We're gonna test all kinds of new things, and for him to win over this West Side crowd, they were not easy.
And that's what's going to have to happen with the heavy lift of fundraising for this program. Just one other thing, when we did our roundtables with the corporate leaders and that sort of thing, they all came around to saying that the right size for the capital program was closer to $50 billion than the anemic 28 and 32 that they've been going for. So this is, while there's not a number out there that's solid yet, I hold that as that 50 billion came to us in different round tables that we held from the real estate community, from the business community, from social services community as a closer number that's the one that could help rebuild this system than the one that we've been using.
One thing I wanted to add too is we've been talking for probably 4 or 5 years about reforms that are needed in the personnel system, about people not wanting to take promotions because they'd be making less money. And I think Andy gets that. He gets that. He's talked about looking at the titles for elevator repairmen and saying we can't compete with private industry, so we're going to have to raise our compensation packages. He's talked about reforming the whole structure within all of NYC Transit, so people won't feel that taking a promotion is a step down financially for them. So that's a really positive thing.
Yeah.
And
Wait, Carol, half a second. Edith's hand has been up.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that list of stations that they trumpeted, many of those are 100 key stations. And they've already gotten the
No, it's just the next batch. That's all I was reading.
No. There are 100 key stations, they're 100 key stations. They're not a next batch.
They're the
If the
original.
next one's getting done. That's what it means.
well,
That's not the way the press release read, come on.
right, but he's talking about
I'm talking
50
about the press
more.
release.
He's talking about 50 more in the next 5 years and 130 in the
We wanted to
proceeding.
see
I
the
know.
first 100 done.
No, I understand that. I mean, but this is a lot of stations he's talking
Including
about.
the shuttle,
Whether he will do
which
it,
is 20 years late.
we will see. But he's talking about 180 more stations being done.
And and we went through, the elevator's supposed to talk to the elevator repair people to
Right.
say, I'm broken. I mean, this elevator was lighting up, it was sitting there, lit up,
It's
And it's
supposed to send, when it
supposed to send a
malfunctions.
message, exactly. But the
LiftNet,
problem is
LiftNet.
To LiftNet,
interconnection
yeah.
problem. When it works, when it feels like working, it doesn't set off the message.
Well, and understanding what percentage of the time is that message not connecting with the LiftNet system. That would be interesting to.
45% is.
I mean, it's the same thing as the fact that you push the button and no one answers.
So Edith, when I read these stations, if there's one that's not on the 100 key, you let me know, okay?
Okay.
Bedford Park Boulevard on the B and T.
It's on the list,
Gun Hill Road on the 5.
on the list,
149th Street Grand Concourse, all levels, 2, 4, and 5.
on the list,
86th Street on the R in Bay Ridge.
on the list.
Bedford Avenue on the L. That's
On the list.
as a result of the L train shutdown, obviously.
No, that actually, I believe, is on the list. to begin
Greenpoint
with.
Avenue on the G.
That's on the list. That was on the list.
Yep,
Eastern Parkway Brooklyn Museum on the 2, 3.
on the list.
On the list.
Rockaway Parkway on the L, you say, 59th Street on the N and R in Brooklyn.
That was on the list.
I'll defer to Chris, because
No,
I don't even know what that is.
95th Street on the R.
That-
Yes.
Yes.
And the light, First Avenue on the L, that's responsible of the L train shutdown. Chambers Street on the J and Z.
No, First Avenue is not. Avenue A.
It's the
is-
Avenue A end of First Avenue
Right,
Station.
right,
Yes.
but that was on the list.
Okay.
That was Robert.
What about Chambers on the J and Z?
On the list.
Boy, does that station need attention. Times Square on the Shuttle, which is what,
Or
20 years late.
Astoria Boulevard on the NW.
Oh.
I don't think that was on the
I don't
list.
think it's on the
But
list.
it's
No, it
a
wasn't
key
on the
station, but it's an
But it was,
important
it
station.
was, it was supposed to be
Well, there are
added
many key stations that are not on the list.
Court Square on the G,
on the list.
Yes,
That was one.
and Woodhaven Boulevard on the J.
yes,
Yes.
So there's like one state?
yeah.
But
exactly.
so is what you're asking for is that the language that he used to say, we are gonna be aggressive in completing the 100 stations list,
Exactly,
right?
that's the way it
That's
should be
what-
said.
Yeah, and then,
Not the
put
way
a
it was
request
said,
in.
though.
Right,
Yeah, so let's do that. Ask if the language can be changed that more
To better
accurately
reflect
requests what was
reality.
already on the list. And then, I think yes, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Carol.
So two things. One is, what's interesting is Andy is basically, he made it very clear in the plan that he's going to, it's not top down. He's going out to meet with people, he's going to lunchrooms and, wherever people do, report to their jobs. And he's doing a whole little plan roadshow. He's meeting with people to Broadway today. He's going to 130 Livingston tomorrow. So
That's a lot of
he's not,
lunches.
he's not sitting in his office just waiting for it to happen.
No, he's not that kind of
He's going
guy.
to sell it so people understand, so he engages them, so, they get on board. The second thing I'm very excited in the plan, because this has been a pet peeve of mine for a very long time, is that he recognizes the fact that there are still stations, all these stations have digital stuff, they have health points, but there are a number of stations that do not have PA systems.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
incredible.
outrageous.
Right.
Yeah.
In
And
2018.
so I feel that we are vindicated in that we
Mostly
weren't
elevated
crazy to
stations.
talk about this.
That for the D.
No, there's mostly elevated stations that don't have these.
Exactly,
It's
but
crazy.
how could that be? I mean, that's ridiculous.
It's crazy. So,
They can't put one right at the entrance of the station.
whatever stations don't have them, he's gonna make sure are retrofitted with them. Because you
I
have
mean,
to be
they've
able
got
to
digital
talk to
stuff,
people.
but they don't have, if they need to make an announcement, you can't do it.
How are you supposed to know if a train is out?
So, when we get further details of the launch of Atlantic Ticket, we will let everybody know about that. 'Cause that's a very exciting development. Again, thanks to everybody who advocated for it. Now, Bill, what do we have?
We have old
Nomination.
business where we
Oh,
don't
old
have
business,
anything,
yeah.
we don't have anything on the agenda. There's the opportunity if somebody would want to raise something.
Yes.
Good afternoon, my name is Pedro Valdez Rivera.
Junior.
Junior, yes. It's my first time coming here, so I feel welcome here. Congratulations on the pilot of the Atlantic Ticket. And I'm a member of the Lions Alliance since 2013. Grassroots nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting for affordable fares, improved subway bus service. And one of the issues we address is the bus turnaround campaign, specifically on the B82 select bus service, supposed to be implemented by July of this year. However, there's a lot of opposition going on in local businesses, car drivers, especially on Keys Highway and the like. So anybody got their word and they postponed it. It's on the local media. Now, therefore, me and other Rise Alliance members and staff involved in doing outreach, signing petitions, getting the word out to all the elected officials who oppose the B82 select bus service. That's happened on two Tuesdays ago before a very big storm coming in. By the Midward, I think it's by Keys Highway BQ subway stations. We got a lot of petitions, we talked to them, we addressed the concerns on the B82 bus stops, and they got the word for it, and as a result, we get good press by it, and now they.
Are you opposed to the B82?
I support it,
You support it, okay.
and they got the word for it.
Now, the issue as I understand it is by putting in these bus-only areas, it makes it difficult for the stores along Kings Highway to get deliveries? Was that the issue?
Andrew, I can answer that because the Community Board 15, I was actually at, and Deborah, who's also a member of Community Board 15, and Ann Menino, who's there with me out there, the concern is they were not taught that the community, that this SBS was going through, but the communication that we're hearing is they are confused. They think in the 82 and they're going after the MTA and DOT, but they don't realize it's not MTA's issue really, it's more a DOT problem, which they didn't have open houses, they didn't have community met along Kings Highway.
DOT problem in that the
Section.
street layout and where
Yeah.
the bus would go
The
versus
prob-
where delivery vehicles would go is the
Yeah,
issue?
is an issue, and they're complaining about parking issues, which it really,
Sounds like 181st Street.
Exactly.
Exactly.
which I did mention at Community Board 15. But the problem is it's an issue between from Bay Parkway to Ocean Avenue. But as I'm hearing today, I've been on that 82 bus because I go to East New York for OPWDD. They are still working on building stuff, but the issue is between Ocean Avenue.
They being DOT?
Yes, they're still doing the bus stops, they're putting up the other stuff up, but there's still an issue that the community does not understand that this 82 SBS is linked to the L train.
How much of a reduction in travel time would this select?
A little more faster and a little more better, because on the
Yeah, but
local,
do you have a number?
1 minute.
I will say, if you're going from Rockaway Parkway to Kings Highway train station, I will say 30 minutes.
30 minutes difference between the local and the
The
SBS?
local takes an hour or 2 hours, because it stops every stop. It stops every stop. She can tell you, she's been on it. They stop every stop. That bus is full at Rockaway Parkway and at Kings Highway train station. And it's a suicide mission. It's packed to the
Pedro,
gum.
Jim, want to say anything else about that?
No, as I look forward, I will refer to my group, the Wise Lines, so we can have a cooperating like a relationship with the PCAC and the New York City Transit Wise Council on the B82 Surf bus service, because it's part of a much more bigger campaign, which is the bus turnaround campaign, which we all won.
Right.
It's because of the anti-bike release, the bus permit.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Edith?
Old business.
Yeah, I'll-
Buses not going where they're supposed to. Buses falling off bus stops. Buses being
That's
turned
not old
around.
business, that's painfully old business.
I realized, when you said there was nothing, I'm like, wait a second.
Well, there's nothing on the agenda.
No, that's why we
But
need-
that's actually part of the corporate plan, is that they need to get buses to follow their schedules and routes,
I
and
read
they're
it,
set.
yes.
And his idea is to put more people out on the street to supervise
To
them.
go back to what we used to have.
Yeah.
And
Well,
DOT is an
with more
important part of
technology.
that.
Oh,
More
I mean,
technology.
come on. 20
Well,
years ago,
bus
we
lanes
had the white shirts out there
Yeah.
with their little,
Yeah, but the white shirts didn't know where all the buses on the route
So
are.
another piece of Andy's
Yeah.
plan is enforcement of bus lanes and compliance, and
Yep.
that requires state approval of this bill that, I forget who the sponsor is, but would allow cameras to be placed on the buses, license plates of vehicles that are blocking a bus lane recorded, and after so many violations, that person would lose their ability to register their vehicle.
So there isn't.
That requires, there is a bill, I forget who the sponsor is now, but it has moved to nowhere, unfortunately.
Right, can we get behind that and
Yeah,
write
yeah, I'll get the
a
number of the
letter
bill from,
Yeah, because I think,
yeah.
And I just still feel that you know, I think that's fine, I think that's a great idea, but it still begs the question that the NYPD is not doing what they should be doing.
but nor a bus driver.
Nor is DOT.
You know,
Yeah, there's
it's
lots
a
to go
great big
around.
issue.
I mean, One of the reasons that bus ridership has somewhat declined, and you can argue about how much it's declined, but is that the buses can't get through, so people see that they're not getting through, they're not reliable, so they're switching to other modes. So the next time the buses are examined for ridership, it's lower, so there's a further bus cut. I call it the death spiral. And that's what supposedly President Byford would like to reverse. And he will reverse it by showing that on bus lines, he will do a demonstration on one or more routes, hopefully, where all branches of city government intervene to make sure the bus gets through, whether it's NYPD, DOT, whoever, transit officials, and see if the ridership comes back. Yes, sir.
Speaking of bus lanes, I see cars parked on Cross Bay Boulevard every time I ride this Q52 bus. And I say to myself, cars should not be parked on the bus lanes. Only bus is supposed to go through. And NYPD should give people a citation for parking on the bus lane. So, on Cross Bay Boulevard.
Yeah, I mean, because that's one of the newest select bus routes and one of the most touted by both DOT and transit, you would think that for the initial period of that bus's existence, that they would have been out there with large numbers of enforcement vehicles. You would have thought that, but apparently that is not the case. Stewart.
Two things. I can't remember the fellow's name. We had a guest speaker who came to us with his colleague and spoke about internal studies and surveys that they did. Did we ever hear back whether they would share that information with us?
Oh, I remember that.
That was one of the asks.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and no,
No.
no, they won't.
Okay.
They won't.
They won't?
No.
But you've asked them though?
Well,
Yeah.
we could certainly, you know, Andy may not have been here then, and
No, he was
so,
not here. He was not
I
here
think
at that
that
time.
maybe we could re-ask now, because there's a different atmosphere where we could take a look
Okay,
at
because
that.
if he's
Yeah.
steering the train, so to speak, and maybe.
Yeah, that it is.
More relevant topics.
Yes,
more
I think we
openness
should ask
now.
again.
The other piece was, as a group, a long time ago, we visited the Culver Line Viaduct over the Gowanus Canal. And, they've concluded that capital project, but recently I was there on another city project and noticed that the steel superstructure, is starting to rust again. So the coating that they put on doesn't seem to be working. Could we?
Are we talking about between 4th Avenue and Smith Ninth, or between 4th Avenue and 7th Avenue?
Between Smith 9th Street and the portal of the tunnel, the portion over the canal.
Oh, that part.
Carroll.
As you're going into Carroll Street.
Over the Lowe's
Okay.
property,
Yep,
over
yep.
the private houses from 4th Avenue
Yep.
through 3rd Avenue through to the portal. So even though they've coated the steel with something, rust is coming through the.
Already?
Remember, we saw concrete spalling, we saw
We
steel
did.
deteriorating, so they used a coating. But if the thing is beginning to rust, maybe there's something they have to look at again. And it's very.
So it's between
very
Smith 9th Street and the Carroll Street portal there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we're problems with that tunnel.
Well,
Yes,
so
sir.
now they're visible, so.
Hi, my name is Bobby Lee. I'm also new to this meeting. And I live in the Bronx, in Parkchester. So one of the questions I have is, we have elevated trains. The last thing I like to do is walk up the steps and then find out the train's not running. Why can't they post something at street level?
Which we've asked for years.
20 years.
There's no clocks at the street level on that
There's
station?
no clocks, there's nothing. All right? So that's number one. Number two is,
Wait, but before you go on,
yeah,
on the mezzanine where the fare entry is, are there clocks there?
no, there could be signs there, but you still have to walk up the steps.
Right, but there's nothing even on electronic on that level?
No,
We're talking about the East 177th Street Parkchester Station?
Parkchester, Castle Hill, up to Pelham Bay. Okay. So the other thing is that buses, I was waiting for the 4A, which stops in Parkchester, and people were running to the stop at Benedict. And the reason why was the bus driver didn't stop at Starling, okay? And the reason why, because one of the passengers asked him about it, is that he said, well, nobody rang the bell. But there was a line of people there, because also the Q44 stops there, all right? And so, I mean, how do customers,
So when something like this happens to you, do you get the badge number of the operator?
well, what I did
And he
was.
goes speeding by at 45 miles an
Or a bus
hour.
number.
Or a bus number. Bus
No,
number.
what I did was, I went to 311, and I filed a complaint with the bus number,
That's good.
all right?
That's-
Because you're not gonna go, I'm not gonna go and.
It's easy to
"Excuse me,
identify
sir,
the driver
I'm
from that."
sorry, but could I have your name? That's
No,
not
no.
gonna happen.
No, if you were outside, obviously getting the
No, I'm
vehicle.
inside, but I'm just going to look at the bus number.
Yeah.
I took the bus number down.
Bus number, just the direction and time is
Right, that's,
sufficient.
so those
Yeah,
are the three.
so-
And location.
But the thing is that I went to 311, and it took me 15 minutes to file this complaint, because the scroll down windows kept scrolling down. So when you say one thing, they'll say, no, you're missing something.
Right.
Then you go back, and you add something else, and then you go, you're still missing something.
Yep.
Because it scrolls down, and down, and down, and down. I mean, I'm a little computer literate, and I got it. But somebody who's not that computer literate is saying, what the heck's going on? All
You
right.
went to 311 and not 511.
Well, I tried 511, I couldn't file a complaint there, so I
Yeah,
went to
the
311.
probably the easiest way to do it is go to the main MTA page. Up in the right-hand corner, there's a Contact Us FAQ button. Click on that, and it'll take you,
Also,
it'll
the
take you to,
MTA pages.
yeah, it'll take you
Okay, so the
to
last-
a complaint form that's pretty easy to use.
Do you ever get a response for this? Because I've never gotten a
Yes.
response.
You do, if you do what he just said.
Oh,
On the
yeah.
Yeah, they will,
Because
they will
give you
send
a
you,
number.
if you give them
Yeah, but they give you.
contact
a
information, they'll send you back a,
non-answer.
they'll
311
send you
has
back
actually
a
responded.
Well,
response.
311 gave me a number.
A response.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Since you mentioned bus badges, I might as well bring this up, because I wasn't. The bus drivers on B36 in Sheepshead Bay are hiding their badges.
On every bus.
They even, okay,
They all are.
they
Yeah,
flip
it's all
them
over.
around, well, one guy this morning had it in his pocket. So, that's all.
That's nothing new.
That's bad morale, means it's bad morale, means the garage is in disarray, and that there's no supervision.
Well, that just the,
Often
Okay, folks, our guests are here and
Can we look at new business quick? 'Cause we've been
let
waiting
me,
patiently.
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What do you want to do? Okay, one thing, we traditionally give an opportunity for people to nominate members for our offices. As you know, every June, we elect officers. Our current officers are Andrew Albert, of course, as the chair, Bert Strauss as the vice chair, and the remaining members of our executive committee currently are Christopher Greif, Stuart Goldstein, and Bill Gill. So the nominations can be made on the floor before the vote, or they can be made now.
on the floor or from your seat.
From your seat.
Is there
So-
a reason where we have a 12-year cycle, a 12-month cycle? Just a question.
We just do. We have for years. We can change that if people want to make a change in the bylaws.
I'd just like to suggest.
The other
That
two-
would require a bylaw change.
It would require a bylaw change, but we have the other two councils the two commuter rail councils are on a two-year cycle, so. it
That's
would
why
would not
I
be the
asked.
first, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it might be useful and helpful if we can go to 24-month cycle.
Okay, well, what we can do is we can prepare language for next meeting, and then we would have to read it once and then vote on it at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
So just for clarification, would the change occur with this vote, or would it change?
It would be the
For the
next, it would
next-
be,
for the
it would
next
it
term.
would be the
2
next.
years.
For the next term?
It would be the next one, because it would still be in force in June. The current
Yeah,
bylaws
because you
would
have
still
to
be,
give a month's
would
notice.
still be in force in June, so.
Andrew,
Yeah,
I've got a piece of semi-new business. They're very busy putting up new signs on the streets with when the next bus is gonna come.
Yes, I've seen them.
They're great when they work. I mean, one sign I said, the 1, 2, 3 bus is so many minutes away, and there's no 4 bus listed, no 4 routes.
I was on Madison yesterday and I saw one of these things and
All right, the
it said
second
20
thing,
minutes and there was a bus well before that.
right, and the second thing on top of that is that they're taking out the lollipops with the bus station number on them.
Right.
So they're making bus time useless because you can't, unless you.
Right.
Yeah,
they-
you must,
they-
you
signs don't
won't know the
have-
stop number.
Right.
Right.
Well, they're taking off the Q code as well. So there's nothing for me to hold my phone up.
Exactly.
I can't read the bus number because it's 6 feet up in the air.
Yes, Stuart?
And I mentioned this at a prior meeting, and the Guide-A-Ride sign with the frequency is gone as well.
Well,
Yeah,
that goes
they're moving to
along with-
electronic versus that old, because that schedule's only as good as the last printing.
Yeah, if these.
But
But
let's say it's
until
a
they
school
have-
run and it terminates, you don't have that information.
So,
Andrew?
wait, let's just, if you have a specific stop where the code that Edith just mentioned is gone, and the lollipop, which has the identifying stop number, is gone, let us know those stops.
Oh, it's gonna take forever. The 1 and 2 stops at 58th Street in Madison, the 3 and 4 stops in the middle of the block. They put up an electronic sign that tells you when the 3 and 4 is coming. There's nothing on the one side.
Why are they taking them off?
Of course, if you go to bus time, the
Well, then-
app,
but you don't have the bus-
and key in an intersection, it will tell you the stop, it knows the stop number.
If you can figure out how to put in the intersection, whether it's 757th and Madison or Madison and 57th, or if it's SDS.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
them.
I
And
know.
it also still, I'm sorry, Chris, one
That's
second.
okay.
It still doesn't deal with the fact that an express versus a limited bus, I mean, a limited versus a local bus, and it doesn't deal with ones that fall off the web page because they're running through and then through a stop. You know, it's just really not very useful. And people all go and look at the map, look at the route map on the lollipops.
I know,
I don't even know.
I've seen it. Chris, you're the last one, we have to
Yes.
move on.
As Bradley has in his hand, I was at, with Edith, we were at the double deck buses, and I'm glad the board, I'm glad he's giving them out. And I'm being quick, it has all the information on the brochure, so I bought some extra
Oh.
copies of that with it. But that's the main thing, I'm also, and
Okay.
I want to add, they are going to be adding this double deck hearing on the Bronx too, just to let you know.
Okay,
You have any Bible? You don't have any Bible?
yes, I do. I actually do. Does anyone have, before we go on to the speaker, does anyone have a nomination? I'll ask that. Okay, well, we will take nominations in advance of the vote in that case, next month.
Okay.
As-
So, then we will move on to our speaker, Tom Gianfrancesco. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Tim.
Tim, I'm sorry. Tim.
You got the hard part right.
Has been working.
You got the hard part.
Had to put my glasses on.
So possessive of their name.
He's with MTA Capital Construction as program executive for Phase 2 of the 2nd Avenue subway. Obviously, Phase 1 opened at the end of December 2017. 16, listen to me. Actually, this says construction for Phase 1, which opened in December 2017.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyway, he also managed the TBM tunnel contract and street utility work that allowed the project to be built and led the effort to construct and energize 9 medium voltage substations to provide facility and traction power to the new tracks and stations. Mr. Gianfrancesco previously headed New York City Transit's Civil Structural Core, Subsurface, and Utility Engineering Group, where he led the design of the underground utility and street restoration efforts needed to rebuild the 1 and 9, remember the 9? Subway tunnel after the September 11th attacks and construct the new South Ferry Station. He holds a BS in Civil Engineering from Manhattan College and is a practicing professional engineer in the state of New York, and he's here to tell us about Phase 2 of 2nd Avenue. And I better get out of the way because my head's going to be in the way, I think.
Yes, Andrew, get out of the
Oh,
way.
you want to scoot this one?
Yeah, I'll
Switch it.
Andrew.
Oh, here.
There's 11.
Here, it's 11.
Did you turn it off?
Should be on.
Can you,
Maybe the power one.
Maybe the power one.
Lights, should lights come down?
There you go. There we go.
Not back here.
It may have time here.
While we wait for that to warm up, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to come here and speak about this project and to introduce a couple of members of my team. This is Manan Garg, is one of my design managers.
Good afternoon, guys.
And Hector Santana is the lead director out at the Community Information Center on 125th Street.
I know Hector for many
Me too.
years.
Oh, do you?
Yes, indeed.
And I know him too.
So I'm sure you all know the storied history about Second Avenue subway. This is the subway line that's been discussed and planned since the early 1920s.
Johnny goes road the
So there's been a series of starts and stops in the planning for a variety of reasons, whether they be political or funding. But the need for the Second Avenue subway was, is well documented, and especially back going all the way into the 1940s, 1950s, when the Second Avenue L and the Third Avenue L were removed. It just reinforced the need that this needed to be done. We actually got serious one time in our history in 1970s. The contracts were let out and 3 sections for Second Avenue were constructed, 2 sections up above 99th Street and 1 section down there where Confucius Plaza is, around Confucius Plaza today. We're actually, I'll go into a little bit more about that. We're going to incorporate those 1970 sections up in the north into the new project. Phase 2 in particular, the benefits of Phase 2. Phase 2 is vital to the transportation needs in that community, in East Harlem, Central Harlem community. We needed to provide, it's going to provide accessibility for employment opportunities, for people to get from the neighborhood to other areas in Manhattan for jobs, and also to bring in people from the Bronx, to bring in people from Westchester, where we have close connection to Metro North Railroad on Park Avenue, as well as provide access to the hospitals and specialty medical centers on the east side. And of course, to relieve the overcrowding on the adjacent Lexington Avenue line and thus improve its reliability. To go back a little bit in terms of the complete project profile, around 2000, 2001 is when we began to get serious again about planning and design and constructing Second Avenue subway. So we started our design effort for the full-length Second Avenue subway, which comprised of 16 new stations, 1 rehabilitated station, and about 8.5 miles of new subway. We split it up into 4 phases because we needed to create what I refer to as bite-sized pieces for us to try and accomplish